Good evening, Professor. My name is Anthony, and we'll be discussing what you pawn, I will redeem questions from 10 Little Indian. So, number one, summarize the story in 2 to 3 sentences. The story is about a Native American who's an alcoholic, who's actually homeless, stumbles across a pawn shop. This pawn shop has his grandma's possession, which is a regalia, and he set off on a quest to find money to purchase this regalia back. Was the main character justified in getting his grandmother's regalia back? He definitely was. He has a really strong connection with his grandmother. They share stories such as the World War II story where she was a nurse in the military hospital in Sydney, Australia, and she goes into discussion of having this conversation with this other native. And this kind of shows you that, hey, they have a really strong connection with each other. And since they have a strong connection, his grandma was very important to him. In fact, he also does mention in the story as well that that's when he started actually drinking excessively, was because of his grandmother's death. So because of this strong connection, because of this just the way he describes his grandmother and how he tells stories and mentions his grandmother a lot throughout the story, this definitely makes him a justified character to get back his grandmother's possession, and kind of runs in the family as well. Was the clerk obligated to return the regalia? I don't believe the clerk was obligated to return the regalia. My reasoning for this was because he did not know that grandmother's possession was stolen in the first place. He was trying to make a quick extra bucks off of it, since it's part of the native tribe, so it's very, very important to them, and he knew that. So he knew that he would make money off of this. So in that sense, I think it should go into like a cycle where he tells the police officers, and the police officers tell him, hey, let's track this back so we can get you the money that you spent on this regalia and see who the person who stole it 50 years ago. Let's track him down and let's get him. They do mention a lot in the story that they did want to. A lot of people said, hey, you should call the cops. Requested stolen, or tell them, hey, it was stolen, and let the police officers do what they have to do. But Jackson definitely does decline that a lot throughout the story, and he gives up kind of like to say, I don't want to get him in trouble, or hey, this is a quest that only I have to complete. So he is definitely obligated. The pawn shop owner is definitely obligated to return the regalia. It's more on the lines of being a good person though, but does he really have to give it off for free? That I don't think he has to. Did the main character redeem himself by the end of the story? The main character did not redeem himself, in my personal opinion. The reason why I say this is because he made easily over $150 from the cop giving him $30, the store owner giving him $20 to start off, him going to try to sell a newspaper, only sells 4 of them, and then excuse me, next thing you know, he spends this money on McDonald's. The money the pawn shop owner gave him, the $20 to start off. Hey, here's your start to success, essentially. I know you can do it. He ends up spending it on alcohol so he can drink it with him in the alley. He scratches a lottery ticket, wins $100. He ends up purchasing alcohol with that at a bar, $80 of it, and the other $20 he gave to the store owner. And it's kind of one of those things where every time he received money, he spent it on something, and it was kind of going back and forth, back and forth. I'm not sure if he did it, if he spent all this money because he wanted to, or was it more of the lines of he needed to spend it. He makes it sound like he needed to spend it because it was one of those things like, oh, it's only this much amount of money, I could find this much amount if I do this, and then it was just a cycle. It's like, oh, it's only $4, I could buy 4 cheeseburgers. He's homeless, let's not forget that as well. what do you think the main character will do with the regalia now that he has it back? So I think he either might lose it, or he might turn it into something rememberable, and he might change his life around. I think I'm leaning more towards the side that he might lose it by accident. My proof for this is when he got drunk, he got out of the bar, he got drunk, and he was sitting on the railroad tracks, sleeping on there, and a police officer actually woke him up to move him. That's kind of one of those things where it's like, whoa, you were that drunk that you slept on the railroad tracks. So taking that into consideration, he might get drunk, black out, and next thing you know, he loses it. He might actually do something good with it as well. To point that out, proof that I have is that at the end of the story, he states that, hey, it's like the world stood still to him, and that kind of shows you how appreciative and how much of a connection he had to his grandmother. And for this reason, there might be the possibility that he might change his life around because of getting something so back, something that resembles motivation. He might do something differently. And that's it for this lovely story. It was awesome. Thank you so much.